with a chain emoji. President Trump has been critical, obviously, of Don Lemon for years. Lemon himself has not been shy in calling out the president and his administration. A magistrate judge had initially refused to allow federal officials to arrest Lemon and take him into custody, but they took it to a grand jury in Minnesota and got a felony indictment. The indictment, unsealed this afternoon, alleges that Don Lemon and the others charged, quote, oppressed, threatened, and intimidated the church congregants and pastors. Here's some of what Lemon said during that live stream. Take a look.
I'm just here photographing. I'm not part of the group. I'm just here photographing. I'm a journalist. We don't know. That's what they're saying. So we're here just chronicling and reporting. We're not part of the activists, but we're here just reporting on them.
Don Lemon's attorney released a statement saying, in part, quote, this unprecedented attack on the First Amendment and transparent attempt to distract attention from the many crises facing this administration will not stand. Don will fight these charges vigorously and thoroughly.
So in this clip, we are looking at Anderson Cooper, again, breaking down just the facts of the Don Lemon situation, the Don Lemon getting arrested and going to, well, he didn't go to jail, but Don Lemon getting arrested for busting inside a church, claiming that Don Lemon claimed he wasn't part of the group, that he's just here reporting. And Anderson Cooper is breaking all of that down. And Anderson Cooper actually does an interview with the girl that Don Lemon was arrested with. And I want to play a little bit of that clip because I don't like doing the whole thing like activist judges, activist this, but there is a point where we can say there's such a thing as activist journalism, at least when it comes to Don Lemon, and I kind of want to talk about it. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
I don't feel like I have my First Amendment right as a member of the press because now federal agents are at my door arresting me for filming the church protest a few weeks ago.
That was a live stream she did on Facebook. Journalist Georgia Fort is out of jail and joins me tonight. Georgia, first of all, how are you doing? And were you surprised that you were arrested? Obviously, previous attempts to arrest you had been blocked by federal courts.
Yeah, I'm hanging in there. It is quite frightening to have 24 agents outside of your home. My children were home with me when I was arrested. And so, yeah, it's been a long day. And yes, it was extremely shocking.
You had 24 agents show up at your door?
Yes.
I want to read part of what the justice...
I don't believe her. Okay? Let me just, right off the bat, you guys might as well, listen. Your guys are going to see my bias in this clip. I'm still fuming about this, that these people think that they could bust inside a church and that there wouldn't be even a show of consequence. Look, I don't think that anybody's going to go to jail and spend time in jail, nor do I necessarily need that, right? But I need you to feel like you shouldn't be doing that to people who are simply worshiping. It's not like you got some lead that some sick stuff was happening in that church. That's kind of different. You guys went in there about some ICE protests, and you wanted to cover what? A bunch of Looney Tunes doing Looney Tunes stuff? Because these people who are rioting, they don't even know what they're doing it for, and that pisses me off because we could have had a real, actual protest in this country saying, hey, listen, we don't like the way this administration is going. We don't want to go into wars. We don't like the way ICE is doing this. They need better training, this, that. None of that is happening. It's all just a big show, and guess what? It's already over, right? And you went and busted inside the church, so you do deserve to be a little scared. God forgive me. God forgive me. God forgive me. But I don't believe 24 agents were outside your house. First of all, you're a female and you look like you're mixed. And a lot of times mixed women have borderline personality disorder, allegedly, and identity crises that make them need to feel like heroes or important or figure out who they are. I'm keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. I have this in my family, so I already know what I'm just keeping it real. Y'all can go ahead and be mad at me if you want. Just being real.
Justice Department alleged in the indictment, and let you respond, they claim, and you and the other defendants, quote, entered the church in a coordinated takeover-style attack and engaged in acts of oppression, intimidation, threats, interference, and physical obstruction, they said, and, quote, as a result of defendants' conduct, the pastor and congregation were forced to terminate the church's worship service. Congregants...
I'm sorry. I need to... I'm sorry, Anderson. Look at this thug. Look at this thug yelling in this pastor's face. Come on now. What? Oh, yeah. No. I'm sorry. I hope what? And I'm supposed to sit here and think that this is normal and okay and a freedom of speech. Just no respect for the sanctuary at all. Look, I would never want this in a synagogue. I'm not Jewish. I'm not with the Israel lobby. And I still think it would be insane if I heard that people bust inside a synagogue and got in people's faces. I'd be like, you guys are crazy and I want no parts of that. So why would somebody do this and think that this is okay?
And, quote, as a result of defendant's conduct, the pastor and congregation were forced to terminate the church's worship service. Congregants fled the church building, fear for their safety. Other congregants took steps to implement an emergency plan, and young children were left to wonder, as one child put it, if their parents were going to die. What is your reaction to that?
Anderson, I am a journalist, just like you. I went in my capacity as a journalist. I documented as a journalist. The footage is published. It speaks for itself.
You captured video of your own arrest, federal agents outside your home. Can you just talk about that experience?
As journalists, we never want to be the story, but unfortunately, I did find myself in a predicament where I felt that I needed to be able.
Predicament, honey. Okay, if you're gonna do this, you have to know how to speak. Okay, listen, I'm not the best speaker. I'm not calling myself a journalist. I'm a commentator. Okay, so there's that predicament. Since you want to be the star of the show, as journalists, we don't want to be the story. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You told them there was 24 agents outside your house. There wasn't no daggone 24. It wasn't 24 because they would have all been scattered about. They're not there. Come on, man, please.
To tell my own story, that I needed the world to see that journalism is on trial, that we are at a state in our nation where if you are documenting what's happening, you may be criminalized for it. You may be arrested. And so I think what is happening in Minnesota overall should be quite alarming to the entire nation. I think what happened to me today as an independent journalist, what happened to Don Lemon being arrested for reporting what's happening. I think people should be alarmed. And I think mainstream media should also be really concerned because if they can criminalize a journalist here in Minnesota, whether you're independent or not, I think that we've seen a track record where this is just going to continue to escalate.
Well, it's already been happening. So it happened under the Biden administration during the January 6th situation. Okay, people who were journalists, they did get arrested too. I do keep my energy across the board. I do. But when it comes to churches, I will say, like I said, I'm going to be biased. I'm unapologetically I'm not with this in any fashion. At first, Don Lemon with his stinky hands all in people's faces. I know me. I would have been like, you gotta get away from me because I don't know what you were doing with your hands earlier. I'm sorry. Because you have to hear how this guy talks about Christianity, about his identity coming before the Lord. Like, I'm a sinner myself and everything, but I know that my identity doesn't come before the Lord. I'm just a person trying to be better. Okay? Now, of course, I don't want anybody, like I said, doing hard time in jail or anything like that. But I do not feel bad for this woman at all. She's a liar. Okay? She's already a liar. 24 were outside. You are an emotional woman who has a camera and you ran out to do something. Okay? Where is she? Who is she? Who even is she? Like, man, please. Like, no. There's just no decorum. I don't care. And we'll keep seeing what happens with this situation. Not much of anything else, but next time don't go into sanctuaries or holy places, people's holy places, and trying to intimidate them and things like that. Nope.